If we want to survive, we have to make it until dawn.
Here I come.
The first trailer for Sony's Until Dawn movie has just dropped, and everyone seems to be divided on it already. The film adaptation seems to be taking on an ambitious new story that is a far cry from the video game it's based on. This has some longtime fans upset, while others are noticing that the trailer looks like it's still gonna be a high-quality movie. We have a lot to talk about today, including a bunch of updates about this film and the new trailer that just dropped. So let's get into it! Hey everybody, I'm KillJoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. We have a doozy of a video today talking all about the immediately controversial Until Dawn movie. For those of you who have never had the pleasure of playing the incredible 2015 video game, you definitely should before you see this movie. Let me explain why some fans are really upset about this new trailer. The 2015 video game starts off with a group of friends having a party at a snowy lodge in the woods. After a pretty awful prank is pulled on Hannah by the rest of the group, she runs into the woods with her sister Beth going after her. They're chased by what seems to be a Jason Voorhees-style slasher through the woods, played by horror maestro Laurie Fessenden, as the two fall off of a cliff. A year later, the sisters are presumed dead as the survivors head back to the cabin after being invited there by Hannah and Beth's brother Josh, played by Freddie Mercury lookalike Rami Malek. As drama ensues between our 8 characters, as they of course split up, they start to get picked off one by various entities and learn the hard way that there are many terrifying secrets to the Blackwood Mountain. One of the most unique mechanics that the video game has is that there's this butterfly effect where you have to make these vital decisions for characters. Some choices can have deadly consequences, as Dr. Alan Hill will tell you in these little breaks from the story where you go into this little therapy session with this crazy doctor. Some good news for fans of the video game though is that Peter Stormare, who plays Dr. Alan Hill, will reprise his role from the video game in this upcoming flick. So at least something is consistent with the video game. Although we do see Peter Stormare here playing some sort of gas station clerk. What's up with that? Now you might have already noticed some big differences between the trailer we got today and that plot description for the video game from 2015. The characters and the plot have been changed drastically while some little things have stayed the same. From the trailer and plot description for the movie, we learned that yes, it will follow a group of friends who head up to a ski lodge on the anniversary of their friend's disappearance. But the situation itself is very clearly different. After all of the characters seemingly die in the trailer, they are resurrected as the clock goes back to 6:45 p.m. that same day. It seems like our new characters have to repeat the night over and over again without dying until dawn.
Here I come.
It's like if Happy Death Day and Cabin in the Woods had a f***ed up baby and you threw it in a blender. I kinda love this. I would also argue that it's not too different from the video game. Let me explain. My experience playing Until Dawn was a fun yet frustrating one. As a perfectionist, I really wanted to get the best ending, resulting in going back to the start of the game over and over and over again until finally all of the characters survived, including Josh, who is the hardest character to keep alive. I think he just wanted to die. Watching this trailer today, it seems like writers Gary Dauberman and Blair Butler, as well as director David F. Sandberg, are adapting the experience of the game to the screen while taking liberties with the original story. That's got to be one of the most interesting ways to adapt a video game to the screen. I really like this. And yes, I realize I'm in the minority there based on all of the comments I was reading underneath this trailer. Yikes. It seems like it's going to capture the experience we all had playing that game, because I know I'm not the only person who went through it multiple times trying to get a different outcome. Now our characters must fight for that in the story itself. It's a little meta, really ambitious, and just shot up to one of my most anticipated movies of 2025. Now that's not to say that a lot of the hate for this movie is unwarranted. There have been some weird decisions made. The cast for this movie, for example, is nowhere near as strong as the video game, probably the first time I've ever said that. The game featured the familiar faces of Larry Fessenden, Peter Stormare, and Rami Malek, but also Kirby Reed herself, Hayden Panettiere. It is a huge mistake in my opinion to not have Hayden Panettiere's Sam be in this movie in some capacity. Speaking of which, the characters and the names especially have been changed almost entirely from the video game, even though some of them do bear a resemblance to some of the folks we already know. For instance, Hannah and Beth, who I was talking about earlier, who go missing during the opening scene of the video game, have now been congealed into one character named Melanie. Who the f*** is Melanie? Where is Hannah and Beth? And where's Josh? Oh, he's probably dead. I think we established that pretty well already. Now, that's not to say that this new cast sucks. There's some up-and-comers in the world of horror here that I definitely want to talk about for a minute. Michael Cimino joins the 13-night fight for survival here after playing puppy dog lover boy Bob in Annabelle Comes Home. Ugh, Annabelle Comes Home, my guilty pleasure Conjuring Universe movie. It's so bad, but so good. More recently, however, Hulu dropped a reimagining of Hellraiser that starred Odessa Azion, who plays Nina in this film. I personally loved her performance in the David Bruckner straight-to-streaming film that should have landed in theaters instead. Hulu, I don't ask for much. I appreciate that you guys put out a 4K of Prey, but where is the physical release of the David Bruckner Hellraiser, man? I need it! Ella Rubin plays our seeming final girl here named Clover Paul, whose younger sister, Melanie, went missing the year before. Psh, not Hannah or Beth, but I guess I'll take it. Tiptoeing around some video game spoilers here, they're clearly adjusting one of the biggest twists from the game by not having that character Josh that I keep talking about here. Or maybe they're just reworking it. I don't know, but go play the video game, find out what I'm talking about. Now, that brings me to one of my biggest points about this movie adaptation, a big reason why I would call myself a stan. Do we all really want to see a one-to-one adaptation of one of the many outcomes that you can get from that video game? I feel like that's leaving out so many crucial elements to the game by doing that, like many of the different deaths for your characters. The video game relies on a bunch of things, like you making mistakes and fun twists and turns throughout. If they were to just adapt the best ending to the screen, there would be no deaths in the film and it would be really boring. Here, the filmmakers have an opportunity to show us all of those deaths on screen and create new shocks and surprises we didn't already know from the video game that came out 10 years ago now. I personally think this is the best way to adapt something like Until Dawn to the screen. Otherwise, you're missing out on some of the best parts from the video game. I do agree that it's weird that we're not following the same characters from the video game, but in like some sort of new repeating plotline like this. Again, why is Hayden Panettiere not in this movie? But I think I'm way more excited to see a new story told here, opposed to just the same story that I've gone through multiple times now throughout that video game. Instead of reliving the same trauma I've already been through, let's get blasted with some new trauma. That, of course, relies on a good script and execution, however, just like the video game had. Breaking down some other elements I liked about this trailer, it seems like each night will feature a new evil entity and another clue on how to survive. The cool thing about the different nights is it appears to be another genre of horror each time as well. This scene here, for instance, features one of the Wendigos from the game looking like it's the size of a kaiju. I think that's just the camera angle, but that's sick. And the end of the trailer features some found footage body horror, two of my favorite subgenres slapped together.
What? It's still in my face!
Maybe this isn't the best adaptation of the video game story, but it looks like an awesome and super unique horror film. With a ton of little nods to the game, I'm sure some fans will dig the references, if not the divergent plot direction. It seems like Until Dawn is going to use a similar mechanic to Happy Death Day, where our characters can only handle so many deaths before it's just lights out for them. Tree Geldman in Happy Death Day was weaker and weaker after each death, building tension throughout the film's mysterious plot. Happy Death Day has a way sillier tone than something like Until Dawn seems to have though, so I think this could actually be a very terrifying take on something similar. Between teases at some insane looking deaths and a twist-filled plotline, I'm really excited to see how the Until Dawn movie will reinvent the story. Hey everybody, before we wrap up today's video, please make sure to subscribe to this page for more horror updates just like this. We are closing in on 30,000 subscribers, which is insane. It would be so cool if we could hit that goal here soon. Thank you to everyone who supports this page in any capacity. I might be alone in this boat, but I am very excited to see the Until Dawn movie. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm sure the majority of you will disagree, but remember, it is just a movie. We don't gotta get nasty about stuff like this, it's just my shitty opinion. Thank you all for watching, please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.